Morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, really, really good. Absolute pleasure and honor to speak with you again, sir.
Likewise.
So, quick introduction. I think everyone knows who you are, Mr. Brian Smith, the Australian hero who took a simple idea and turned it into a global phenomenon. Incredible sheepskin boots called UGG boots. A man who understands failure and success, and a man who really understands branding and marketing. So, it's a true honor to speak to you again, sir.
Hey, thanks, Tristan. I appreciate that.
Awesome. I thought we'd start straight away with develop understanding your meaning behind words. With Great is Mind, the company that I'm building, we have a big understanding of intention, and your intention behind words have a big impact in life. So I'd just love to hear your definition or the meaning that these four words hold to you. These four words being truth, strength, love, and gratitude. I'm happy to do them one at a time.
Okay, they're great words. Truth is what it's all about, but unfortunately, the truth is not a fixed thing. It's always evolving, and truth can be different to two different people looking at the same object. One might be on the one side of a beautiful shiny Cadillac, and the other side it was in a wreck and it got scraped all the way down the side. So they can look at that Cadillac and see totally different things, right? So you have to understand that truth is relative to the person who's looking at whatever it is, and that can be a not just a physical product, but a thought, and an idea. So that's good. Strength, that comes from being around and testing things and proving things and figuring out if you're wrong or right. And the more you can get wise in that strength, so the stronger you get. Love, however, is to me the most important thing on this planet. And I go one step further. I'm saying unselfish love, right? Which is totally different from unconditional love. I do not like the word unconditional love because people can take advantage of you. But unselfish love is when you're acting in the other person's best interest and your own best interest. So love, to me, if everybody could love each other, this planet would be such a great place to live. Because and I have this feel like we look at people in the Middle East and we see them sort of as terrorists, but there's this, we have an image of this young guy with his headbands and everything holding a gun. But if we realize he has a sister who's getting married in 3 weeks and he's terrified about having to make a speech at the wedding and he hasn't got time to go and get clothes for the wedding, and if we can understand that they're people just like we're people and they've got human lives they're trying to live, and I know this is a polarizing example, but if only we could learn to understand them more, and we would eventually come to like them and understand them, and eventually love would come. And I'm hopeful that in another 100,000 years of the evolution of this planet, we will get to that point where we actually look into the other person's heart and see where they're coming from. And I think love will pervade, then. And gratitude, boy, that's one thing I live with daily. I've been so blessed, not just in selling the UGG boot company, because that was a long time ago, and I built other businesses, and money comes and goes. I've made a lot of money, I've lost a lot of money, but every day I get up and I'm healthy, and my family's healthy, and I've got opportunities like this to speak to you. I mean, how lucky am I that I get to share 40 years of wisdom building the UGG boot business with other entrepreneurs. So I think this is one of the best questions I've ever had, because I can fire off on things that really mean a lot to me, more than, did I make a profit here, or how did I get Uggs here? So thank you for those questions. They're really cool.
No, awesome, Brian. And they were great answers. I really appreciate them. I just wanted to now, you spoke about entrepreneurs. Do you have a message for that young, fiery entrepreneur in all of us, male or female, a bold message that anyone, doesn't matter what age, that is starting on such a venture, like it's similar to self, like how do you just tackle the unknown?
Yeah. Well, the greatest fear is the fear of the unknown, right? So you gotta get rid of that fear of the unknown by moving forward. And no business goes from here and straight up to success, right? You go along, you hit an obstacle, you got a choice. You can give up or you can figure a way over it. And you cruise along a bit more and you hit another obstacle. And every time you can overcome an obstacle, it means that you get stronger and you get better. Your business will improve because you've overcome obstacles that maybe your competitors can't overcome, and eventually you'll get to a point where you have the market share because you've persevered longer than anybody else. And the great piece of philosophy, which is in my book, it's called the Birth of a Brand, right? The It's full of philosophy and spirituality, but my favorite is the most disappointing disappointments will always become your greatest blessings. And every audience I speak to, I ask them, if think of something in the last 6 months that happened in your life, personal or business, that at the time you thought was a huge disaster, and now you look back and think, thank God that happened. 80% of the audience every single time puts their hand up, right? So
Yeah.
it's overcoming these obstacles is where you get your wisdom. If things go easy and you never have an obstacle, you're never going to be a good, wise business person.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I've had that exact experience. Something shifted my life, and it ended up being one of the most beautiful things. I completely
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, as long as you keep moving. If you hit
Yeah.
that wall and go, "Oh, poor me, what's wrong? The world's unfair. That why should that happen to me?" If you keep whining on about it, you're dead. You just got to put it
Yeah.
aside, find a way to move on and keep going, and that's where growth happens.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome, Brian. The greatest thing I've heard you speak about in Melbourne was just that idea that understand there to be a divine spark in all of us, and that
Yeah.
God is all of us experience. And so I'd just love you to go a little bit deeper into that and just share how that belief has just strengthened your journey and what practices you do.
Yeah, I've had so many, like when I first came to America, like within 3 days I was in a house fire. This little place I'd rented, and I couldn't get out. It was in a really bad area. There were bars on all the windows, and I when I realized I wasn't gonna get out of the room, I just slumped to the floor and I just went, "Oh, shit, I'm gonna die," right? And then this voice came into my head, which wasn't through my eardrums and it wasn't me thinking, and it said in a really, really slow, calm voice, it said, "You haven't done enough with your life yet, Brian." And I just
Yeah, well,
freaked out and I got up and I started punching all the windows out. And luckily there was about a foot of air on the floor. So I kept going down and breathing and smashing all the glass out of the windows. And eventually a workman came up and got the bars off the window and got me out of that. But that was nearly 50 years ago. And so I've always had this awareness of a bigger picture. And I've studied it. I've read books on psychology. I've read books on religion. I've read all sorts of spirituality, and I've come to believe that there's a fragment of God in every single one of us, and it is a pure spark of the real God. He's not out there at the end of the universe. There's a fragment in us, and it has a mission for us in this lifetime. It has a reason why it's indwelling us and what it wants us to do. And every time we do something that's in alignment with that, I've noticed this for 40 years, I get goosebumps. And so I challenge everyone listening, if you get the goosebumps, just stop for a second and go, what the hell did I just think? Or what did I see? What did I do? What did I hear? And I'll bet you it'll be something that is quite important in moving your life forward to another level or a next step. So yeah, I absolutely believe in the power of spirit that's in me.
beautiful, absolutely beautiful, Brian. And thank you so much. As a short interview, but I'm truly grateful. And yeah, beautiful. You're a beautiful man with a beautiful message. And honestly, thank you for the UGG boots. They're the best shoes I've ever worn, best shoes I've ever owned.
Way to go, Tristan. You keep well, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.